Hello everyone. In this video, we'll go over the main keyboard shortcuts for OFFLIGHT products, and I prepared this video to help you memorize these shortcuts more easily. Let me start by introducing the shortcuts that change the overall layout. The Shift A, S, and D keys are lined up in order right next to each other. If you press each of these buttons, Shift plus A is the shortcut to open and close the chat window on the left. S in the middle is the shortcut to open and close the task lane in the center. And finally, Shift plus T is the shortcut to open and close the calendar. So in this situation, for example, you can close two of them and view only the calendar, or conversely, you can use it with just the chat window and task lane open while the calendar is closed. If you close all of these, as you can see, it switches to a screen where you can view the clock. Now next, I'd like to show you a few more calendar shortcuts. Right now, since the calendar date displayed is the 5th, it's showing the view for the 5th. For example, if you click on the number here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7, you can change the number of days displayed accordingly. If you want to change the displayed date by one day at a time, you can use the brackets above the enter key to move left or right and adjust the view by a single day. If you think you need to move by more than one day at a time, you can use the plus and minus buttons to jump by the number of days currently displayed. So if you're in a 7-day view, it will move by 7 days at a time. And if you're in a 3-day view, it will move by 3 days at a time. You can use these buttons to navigate accordingly. As you're navigating, if you want to jump straight to today, you can simply press the number 0, and it will immediately take you to today's date. If the shortcuts I just mentioned were for the calendar area on the right, now I'll show you the shortcuts that make it easy to move to the sections on the left, like the backlog, timeline, and pending sections. So many of you might already be somewhat familiar with this part, but if you press the Tab key, you can switch between the visible task views, and if you want to go in the opposite direction, you just need to press Shift plus Tab. Next, let's talk about the shortcut for creating a new task. When you want to create a new task, it's helpful to remember the N in New. So if you press N, a new pop-up will open at any time, allowing you to create a new task. In the window that opens when you create a task, you can easily enter things like priority or deadline at any time using the @ symbol. Besides making it easy to create new tasks, you can also conveniently change the values of tasks that have already been created. Let me explain from the top. If you want to change the status, just remember the first letter S. When you press S, you can easily change the status right here. If you want to change the priority, press P for priority, and you can change it here. Next, if you want to, for example, change the list, just press L, and you can map the task to the list you want right here. And if you press T, that's for time, so you can change things like the time for that task. As for saving, it's not set up to save each time you make a change. Instead, we designed it so that when you press Escape to exit, all your changes are saved at once. So, do you have to actually go into the task to change its status, time, or priority? Absolutely not. Even when you're outside of the task, the shortcuts I mentioned earlier still work just the same. So, if you want to set the priority, you can just press P to change the priority right away. If you want to set the time for this task, press T to change the time accordingly. If you want to set a deadline or due date, you can press D and select something like next week. And although this is a bit of an advanced feature, if you don't want to see this task until a certain time, like later this week or until tomorrow, just remember to use it in the Schedule After option. So, in this case, if you select tomorrow, you can see that it's scheduled for after tomorrow like this. A good way to remember the difference between N and D is to think of them like inequality signs. So, since on the left side it means it has to be greater than this, you use it when entering something on the left. And when you think it has to be less than this, that's for the due date, so you use D. If you think of the left and right as an D, where you enter the minimum and maximum values respectively, it might be a bit easier to remember. Below, we have tasks that have been auto-planned according to our automatic rules. But as I mentioned in another video, there is a way to register tasks in the fast track regardless of these. There's an easier way to do this. Whenever we want to move a specific stay task or change its view a bit, we always use the Shift shortcut key. If you remember the Shift shortcut key along with the F4 fast track, pressing them together lets you easily add those tasks to the fast track. And if you want to remove them from the fast track, you can do it the same way. Just press Shift and F again, and it works the same way. So, you said that the tasks added with Shift can be arranged in order, but is there a shortcut key to adjust their order? We've received a lot of requests about this, and now, if you hold Shift and press the up or down arrow keys, you can easily and quickly change the order of specific tasks. You can think of this as a shortcut for rearranging them. Besides this, there are a few more things. For example, the timeline we're looking at right now shows tasks that all have a status of to do. If you want to move these tasks with the to-do status to the backlog, it feels like you're moving them to the left, right? As I mentioned earlier, if you hold down Shift and press the left arrow, the task will immediately move to the backlog like this. Similarly, if you want to move a task from the backlog to to-do, it feels like you're pushing it to the right. So, if you press Shift and the right arrow, it will change to to-do like this. In a similar way, when you're in the to-do column, if you press Shift and the right arrow, the task will move to pending. And if it's in pending and you push it to the left again, it will move back to to-do. That's how it works. And now, one of the most important shortcuts in our product. If you want to, say, start a specific task right now, we used to call that focusing. So the shortcut key is F. When you press the F key, it's mapped so that the task starts immediately. That's how the shortcut works. So, if you're working on a specific task and suddenly need to switch to another one, just press F for that task, and it will start playing right away, and your plan will be updated. Please keep this in mind. On the other hand, if you're in the middle of a task and, for some reason, need to stop, if you need to go to the restroom or suddenly have to join an urgent meeting, you remember how to pause the music when it's playing, right? The shortcut key you use to pause is the spacebar. Mostly. Just think of it this way. If you press the spacebar, you can pause the current task. Yes, I know I explained things a bit quickly, but I've actually covered almost all of the main shortcuts related to this. So, to review a bit more, when you want to change the screen layout, move the position of a task, or adjust the layout of the screen, you usually use the Shift key in combination with other shortcut keys. Most of the other shortcuts work by using the first letter of the function they're related to. Yeah, was this kind of difficult? It might not have been the easiest video, but once you get a feel for it and start picking up speed, I truly believe you'll be able to use this product better than ever, almost like it's a part of your own body. So, I'd really appreciate it if you keep this in mind and make the most out of the product. Alright, this was Danny. Thank you.